This classic whistle-stop presentation is brought to you by Out West. Love the West? So do we. Click the icon or go to scvoutwest.com.
In many ways, railroads touch the lives of everyone, yesterday and today.
Have one on this one, Bill?
Yeah, I was supposed to have one. Said it was going to send it on this train.
You have a package for Bill Anderson on there? It's heavy.
This nation's history, its culture, its commerce are woven into a tapestry bound together by threads of steel. Railroad tracks linking city to town, farm to factory, binding the nation. Shortly after the Civil War, immigrant trains rolled westward toward the American dream, a new land, a new life. The completion of the first transcontinental railroad in 1869 made the journey from coast to coast possible in only 7 days. Before then, it took up to 6 months by sailing ship, or even longer walking overland behind a covered wagon. When they finally arrived, it was bewildering, confusing. Frontier stations teeming with people, all part of a surging humanity, chasing dreams as the railroads opened the West.
Yeah, I got some apples.
In the years that followed, the railroads continued to move across America with greater comfort and style. Comfort and style exceeded only by the luxurious private cars of the wealthy. It was a new morning across this land. World War I was over, railroads were on the move, and so were the people. Some starry-eyed, they looked at the future with renewed hope. But by the end of 1929, hope would turn to despair. The rich, the poor, they all fell upon hard times during the Great Depression. The homeless hobo riding the rails, an empty boxcar his shelter, his hard wooden floor his bed. The train's haunting whistle, always a reminder of his loneliness. It's past midnight. Suddenly, the telegraph comes alive with new orders for an approaching train. Seconds count. The skilled telegrapher translates the dots and dashes into a train order that must be handed up to the crew as the train thunders by.
Looks like a red order board ahead. I think they got orders for us to start the tank.
Hurry up. We've got another war to win. World War II. And women in great numbers went to work for the railroads, replacing those men who went off to war.
Here you are. Boy, I'm glad you're working with this thing and not me. Hey, where you been? I've been getting the tools. Where do you think I've been?
But the hard work of the locomotive repair shop was not nearly as hard as a soldier's sad goodbye.
Take care, son.
I will, Mom.
I'll miss you.
I'm gonna miss you.
Be careful.
I love you, Mom.
Time to go, son.
I gotta go.
Be careful.
Will you take care?
She would never see her boy again. She would never forget this last image of her son, framed in the window of a Pullman car.
And gentlemen, it's a great honor to be here and see all of your happy...
It was said that the whistle-stop campaigns had almost as much hot air at the rear of the train as up front.
Your next senator to help you solve your problems. Now, the first thing we're going to do when we get back to Washington...
In the 1950s, large train stations like Union Station in Los Angeles were still centers of activity. The airplane and the automobile had not yet taken their toll on the passenger train. In the next quarter century, this country's passenger business would decline, then re-emerge as the public once again returned to the rails.
There's a movie star, so let's go see. Thanks, guys.
Famous trains, the Daylight, the Super Chief, the Challenger, as well as other streamliners afforded speed, comfort, and dependability. Name trains were the pride of the railroads and the choice of the traveling public, including the rich and famous.
One last picture, please, Miss Hamilton. Bye. Bye, Barbara. Thank you. Go on, please. Good trip.
The midpoint of the 20th century saw the change from steam engines to more efficient diesel locomotives on American railroads. The sight and sound of steam engines at work became increasingly rare. Much has changed. Much remains the same. Brakeman, switchman, yard clerk, yard master, towerman, telegrapher. engineer, fireman. Day and night, good weather or bad, every day of the year, railroad people work to keep the trains rolling.
Well, we have to go down number 1, grab the 4 cars, double over the main, pick up the crummy, and get in the clear for number 6.
Okay, sounds good. This is Oil Junction. Yeah, the locals here right now picking up those cars. Right. Yeah, should be just a couple of minutes.
For the steam locomotive, it was the end of an era. Over 100 years of railroading whistled and steamed its way into history. During the cold, snow-driven winter of 1867, the sound of railroad track gangs could be heard echoing off the mountains. From a start 4 difficult years earlier in Sacramento, they had shoveled and blasted their way to the summit of the Sierra. They were on their way east to link the Transcontinental Railroad at Promontory. The American dream of opening the West would finally be realized. History marks these rail builders well.
At the film's end, the movie screen rises to reveal the Sierra scene, a 10,000 square foot full-scale diorama of an 1860s railroad construction scene in the High Sierra, which is a life-size extension of the last scenes of the film. The lifelike diorama includes a snow shed, a tunnel, and the steam locomotive Governor Stanford, built in 1862. It is the first locomotive of the Central Pacific. The Governor Stanford went into service building the Transcontinental Railroad just a few feet from the present location of the museum. This venerable engine was saved from being scrapped, and in 1899 it was repaired and repainted for Governor Stanford's widow, who presented it to Leland Stanford Jr. University. It has been restored by the museum and is displayed in the Sierra scene representing construction in the High Sierra. The first shipment of rails reached Sacramento in October of 1863. By June 1864, 31 miles of track had been laid in the foothills of the Sierra by an army of Chinese laborers from Canton working with picks, shovels, and wheelbarrows. The route crossed the Sierra at Donner Summit. A new blasting explosive, nitroglycerin, was introduced, killing many inexperienced workers.
Don't go away, there's another part to this presentation brought to you by Out West. Shop, look, and listen right here at WhistleStopUSATV.com.